Well, a miracle has happened in Novorossiysk, truly astounding. The Varshavyanka class submarine has miraculously healed itself. Look at this truly wonderful video from the Russian Federation's Navy that was released today. This is obviously after a full day of deliberation. After which they received specific talking points.
Information spread by the special services of Ukraine about the alleged destruction of one of the Russian submarines of the Black Sea Fleet in the Novorossiysk Naval Base Bay is not true. The enemy's attempt to carry out sabotage with an underwater unmanned apparatus did not achieve its objectives.
I want to draw your attention to something while this freeze frame is still visible. Look, first of all, what are these strange blurred effects created by the Ministry of Defense's propaganda channel Zvezda and their project Zvezda News, right? Why is it all blurry? What kind of submarine is this anyway? Is this even the correct submarine, or is it another one? Why isn't this serviceman, a representative of these submarine forces, recording this video directly on board this submarine, this Varshavyanka class submarine, or directly in front of the Varshavyanka itself? What is this? What is it exactly? Well, I'll tell you what it is. This, my friends, is a fake. It's a deliberate and significant downplaying of the true consequences of the attack on that Novorossiysk submarine. I just want to remind you of what became known the previous day. Ukraine's security service succeeded, not just once, I'll tell you about the other later. They hit a Russian Federation vessel in Novorossiysk. Yes, they blew up a Russian Varshavyanka class submarine. As a result of the explosion, the submarine suffered critical damage and was effectively put out of action. Yes, and this submarine, friends, is a carrier of Kalibr missiles, just so you know, so the damage is significant and quite tangible. And if you consider that such a submarine costs $400 million, then in principle, it's a heavy blow to the budget of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. So, what are our sources now reporting? For instance, Radio Svoboda suggests that the damage might not have been quite as severe as was initially reported and communicated, correct? They imply it wasn't as critical as some outlets made it out to be. So even though the submarine was struck, it might not have actually sunk completely. For example, here are the satellite images, before and after. And so, according to the researchers at Radio Svoboda, merely the rudder section was damaged rather than the entire submarine. But even this, my friends, is amazing. This is also something that will go down in the history books. When a drone, a Sea Baby drone, successfully detonates explosives near a submarine, a vessel that was supposedly secured and safeguarded by various protective measures such as boom barriers, buoys, and other similar defenses. And there's information available about that too. Take a look. Novorossiysk, Krasnodar Krai, Russia. So, as one Z Telegram channel reports, the camera was situated on the headquarters building, and as a result of certain actions, the enemy obtained access to it. A challenging question for the competent department. Who ordered this camera to be connected to the network, particularly when the system is meant to function exclusively via wired connections? Secondly, these boom barriers were naturally put in place, but they are partially taken down when ships need to enter or leave. Third, the underwater drone was simply waiting for the right moment and passed through when they were removed. Fourth, a good hydroacoustic complex is installed there, and it could have worked, but there are no good acoustic specialists. All experts were sent to the SMO. Who issued that order? Was it the same individual who brought the camera online? Coincidence? Don't think so, right? That's 4 counts of betrayal. That's just unfolding, and no videos about how something wasn't damaged. That doesn't really matter at all anymore, does it? I found this reaction from a Ukrainian Telegram channel, Taras Frihorovich reports, quite interesting regarding how they typically respond to such messages in the Z publics. It sounds convincing, naturally, but Ukraine has never actually faced an attack from underwater drones previously. Yet they write as if they were fully prepared for it, but then alas, something went awry. Well, by that, I mean those buoys, cameras, hydroacoustic barriers, and various other protective measures. I don't believe they were fully prepared, states Taras Frihorovich, administrator of the Telegram channel, emphasizing that this observation in no way undermines the professionalism of our special services and developers. As I mentioned, this is an incredibly serious situation, but it's a narrative that speaks of a fourfold betrayal, which even made Solovyov himself agitated enough to label his Telegram post with a prominent important tag, like a red rag to a bull, right? Dear colleagues, war correspondents, and military bloggers, I ask you not to amplify Ukrainian narratives and enemy videos, nor to give your own assessments of what happened based on them. So let's just patiently await official information from the pertinent services and departments, shall we? So how should they react to an event that could be compared to, well, I don't know, perhaps the cruiser Moskva? Wouldn't that be a fair comparison? This marks a truly significant milestone in the history of military art, especially concerning naval operations, one that has been showcased for the entire world to see. And it's being displayed at a very specific moment, once again, my friends, when the Russian Federation is attempting to convince the Americans, even parading their cameras around. There were frames, photos, some elements, all these alleged proofs of their absolute triumph everywhere, asserting that Ukraine was utterly destroyed to smithereens and would lose everything by Christmas. And then just look at what unfolds and what happens here. It's quite a spectacle. I genuinely believe this is a very significant, and pardon my language, a rather nasty surprise, strategically orchestrated by the security service of Ukraine, delivered right to Putin and his negotiators at a truly pivotal moment. And naturally, we all ought to be quite delighted about that. Next point. The Crimean occupation authorities, fearing sabotage operations leading up to the New Year holidays, are consequently increasing security measures on the Crimean bridge. The Telegram channel Berezovy is reporting on this. This is Taras Berezovets's channel. You're familiar with it. An additional 212 checkpoints will be put into operation to ensure the smooth flow of traffic, as reported by Berezovets. This, in particular, was announced during a working trip to Crimea by the head of Russia's Ministry of Transport, Andrei Nikitin, has stated, and I quote from the statement, "This measure will enable us to manage as many as 17,520 vehicles daily." All right, so what's currently unfolding with us? We're witnessing definite signs of panic now among the occupation authorities of the Crimean Peninsula concerning, all these events occurring in the waters there. And I'll tell you even more. This isn't the only operation of its kind, and it's quite understandable for them to be concerned about the situation in the Black Sea waters. But the Russians shouldn't relax when it comes to the Caspian Sea either. Because look at this, we've got yet another excellent piece of news coming in directly from the security service of Ukraine. For the third time, my friends, the drones have struck indeed for the third time Russian oil platforms situated in the Caspian Sea. This is according to sources from Babel. This time they write they hit the Novorossiysk platform, owned by the company Lukoil. This specific platform, as you can clearly observe in this photograph right now, is situated within the Korchagin gas condensate field. The drones damaged critically important equipment on the facility and production has stopped. And that's it. Another very important detail is that the drone strikes by the security service of Ukraine also took place on December 11th and 12th, and this information is from the 15th. So for 5 consecutive days, we've had a string of events unfolding in the Caspian Sea from the security service of Ukraine in honor of Russia's Lukoil. Lukoil once more, Novorossiysk. Yes, the Filanovsky and Korchagin oil platforms were also targeted and struck on December 11th and 12th. The Korchagin platform has already sustained 2 damages and will hardly be able to recover. Well, certainly not in the upcoming days, and possibly not even before the new year arrives. Therefore, undoubtedly, they should exercise caution. However, Solovyov has remained completely silent regarding this particular incident. He's only writing about Novorossiysk, you see? Well, undoubtedly, Novorossiysk is a much more significant matter for the Russian Federation's image and reputation. Everything is clear now, and happy upcoming holidays to you too.